Welcome to Urban Exegesis Studios. I'm your host, Dr. Derrick Colon, and I'm excited to have you here. This is the place where hip-hop culture meets faith, history, and community. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. To stay connected and to unlock exclusive content, please join channel membership. You can also find us across social media. On Facebook at Urban Exegesis, on Instagram at Urban Exegesis Studios, and on TikTok at Urban Exegesis Studios. Thank you for tuning in. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey.
What up, what up, what up? Let me get this right, y'all. Let me get this right. Not in my usual location, but that's okay. Just need to make sure everybody can see me and everybody can hear me, as we are going to have a great show for you tonight. No doubt, as we go through my MC journey as an MC, just giving some people some time to get up in here. Let me see. Just want to welcome everybody. Get this up here too. Boom. And that's already happening. So bam, right there, man. So yeah, man, we're going to have a great show tonight. I just want to make sure that my mic is right. And as soon as I start to see people come in, they could tell me whether everything is good. But tonight, we're going to be talking about my MC journey as an MC. We've already covered the graffiti aspect of this. So we're going to cover we've already covered the graffiti. We've already covered the b-boying. Now we're going to cover the MCs. We're going to actually go down memory lane. I actually got some dope footage from somebody. I don't even know how they got this footage of some of a show that I did. It's really short footage also of me doing some graffiti for that show before the show. This was a spot, and I'll get into what it was a little bit later. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at and listen to my my song that I made. I'm going to go through how that even happened. But before all of that, we're going to get into my beginning story, how I was influenced as an MC. But I'm just giving some people some time to get up in the building. Please, what's up, Rafa? Please go ahead and share this on your platforms. Please go ahead and share this on your platforms, whether that's Instagram, whether that's Twitter, whether that's Facebook, whether that's TikTok, whatever it is. Just let them know that we are live right now. Rafa, can you hear me good? Is my voice good? You're gonna have to forgive me, y'all. You're gonna have to forgive me, y'all, because my allergies are acting up. They're through the roof. So it is what it is. I'm trying to, control it, but I do have allergies. So we're gonna work with what we got. Right? We're going to work with what we got. All right. You can hear me. Good deal. Good deal. All right, man. Give some people some more time. Usually takes some people some time to sort of trickle in the building. So we're going to just give some people some time to get up in here. Cochise, what's up, bro? Grace and peace. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah, so we got that footage. We're going to listen to the music that I did. Then we're going to go through, you know, my Christian hip hop days and all that. But we're going to start off with where I started off. So I'm going to wait probably another 5 minutes or so. If you're on the rewatch, just kind of come in around, you know, I'll let you know when to come in. Just come in around there. Again, forgive me. The allergies are through the roof. I did take something. So we good. Hope everybody's doing well. I know we got some people watching. Let me encourage y'all to come on into the chat. Leave some comments. Let's have this discussion. We're talking about my history. We're talking about my history. And I love to talk about my history. It's a beautiful thing. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Like, share, of course, and donate if you at all possibly can. That is that is through super chat, that is through super thanks, that is through channel membership, where you get exclusive perks for channel membership. That's also for PayPal. As you could see, I just recently developed a PayPal. So every little bit helps. We got to work on our background game in the little studio. We got to work on our lighting game, but it's all good as long as we're up and functioning and we're working and we're moving. That's all that matters. So I'm going to come on in probably about 2 more minutes, actually. And we're going to begin the story, the Emcee story. Talk about the names I adopted. Going to talk about all that. Welcome, people, to Urban Exegesis Studios. I am your host, Dr. Derrick Colon. Dr. Derrick Colon. Let's get it in, man. Let's start. Once again, forgive me. I'm going to be clearing my throat. It's all good, man. Allergies, right? So, my journey as an MC actually begins in New York City, but it's not what you think. I'm not an MC in New York City. I'm inspired by the MCs in New York City, obviously, right? So I'm early exposed in the 70s. I'm exposed to when MCing first begins. So I'm exposed to that, right? And I'm exposed to the yes, y'all, to the dip, dive, and so socialize, all of that early stuff. I'm seeing this happen in real time, right? And all of us kind of used to play with the yes, y'all, you don't stop. We all used to kind of just play with that, so to speak. And then eventually, as you know, I moved away in 79 when I was 12. But as I was coming back and forth, now keep in mind, as I move away, I got to tell this story because it's kind of part of it. So when I'm in Rochester and my mother finally joins me, I was sent ahead. My mother stayed back in the Bronx. So I was sent ahead to live with my brother, who was already in Rochester. That's how we got to Rochester. My brother moved there. So my brother was living in Rochester, and he's from the South Bronx, and you know he decided he wanted to move. So I was living with him, and my mother finally gets there, right? And she brings with her this cassette, and I've told this story before. I'm going to make it short, but she brings this cassette from one of the local DJs on the block on Echo Place. because they knew I'm the kid that liked the yes, yes, y'all and all that. And the first thing I hear on the cassette, and I wish I would have saved that cassette, is the song that we would identify as Rapper's Delight. So not only am I hearing the original Yes, Yes, Y'all, but now I'm hearing Rapper's Delight. So I'm getting this kind of love for the voice of the culture, the MCs. And as I'm in Rochester and as I'm going back and forth, I'm an avid collector of music. So I had a lot of music that I was buying. Remember, I told you that I was playing Apache out of my window. I had Super Sperm. I had Frisco Disco. I had Dance to the Drummer's Beat. And I had other eclectic stuff too. But when I moved to Rochester, I start, going to this record shop in Rochester. And I don't remember the name of the record shop. It was downtown Rochester. Anybody that knows Rochester knows it was around where Midtown Plaza was. And it was a record shop down there. And I knew that anytime I saw a record that had the Sugar Hill label on it, that famous rainbow that says Sugar Hill, I knew that was most likely, and then eventually I would know most definitely it was a rap record. So I was buying a lot of this stuff, right? Remember, I'm 12. I turned 13 in January. So, really around, 81, 82, I start, buying this stuff. And again, now I'm exposed to, of course, people like the Cold Crush, people like the Fantastic. I'm exposed to the Treacherous 3. I'm exposed. So now my man Felix, I got to talk about Felix in the Rock. Felix was close with Charlie Chase, and he was close with Almighty KG from the Cold Crush. And I remember I used to go to school. I went to Franklin with Felix. I remember we were in Felix's house. Felix lived right across the street from Franklin. Felix right now is known as a Zulu King Scheme. So he's a Zulu King, member of the Zulu Nation and all that. And he actually lives in Florida. So anyway, I remember him, we were in his crib and he pulls out an 8-track tape of all things. He pops it in and it's a jam with the Cold Crush. Now, that was the first time I had heard the Cold Crush live. I heard about the Cold Crush, but I never heard the Cold Crush. So now I'm hearing the Cold Crush. And the one person that stood out above everybody else was Grandmaster Caz. He's the one that stood out among everybody else. Let me ask you, is my sound right? Is my visual right? I want to make sure I'm not freezing and the sound's not glitching. Let me know. Sound and visual, A-OK. Just let me know real quick before I keep going on with the story. We got a lot of visuals today, guys. I'm going to be showing you some stuff. But let me know, those of you that are in here, if you can hear me and see me and everything looks good and copacetic. Just let me know with a yes. Everything sounds good. Everything looks good. Want to make sure I'm not freezing and all that kind of stuff. So let me make sure I got that correct. I'm assuming everything's good. So we're just going to keep going. Listen, what we got to deal with lives is sometimes the glitchiness and sometimes, but it is what it is. We still get to tell our story. So I'm highly inspired by Grandmaster Caz. And there was a part of the jam. Now, I don't know when this jam took place. I just know when I heard it. And this was the 80s. earlier 80s. And there's a part of the jam where somebody in the audience starts to try to heckle the Cold Crush. And you could hear JDL and Almighty KG tell Kaz to go on him, to go off on this dude. And I remember that rhyme vividly. It was so etched in my memory. I'm going to try and just do the best I can with it. Let me put this on the screen. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in, La Bella. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. So I can remember the rhyme. And it was an acapella. He was just going off on somebody. And it went something like this. I'm not going to say it with the same energy because I got the allergies going on. But he said, each and every time we turn the music low, turn it down for a second to make you say, ho. Somebody somewhere deep inside the crowd has to make a comment or snap out loud. No matter where we are, no matter where we play, there's always a knucklehead with something to say. And he just kept going off on this dude, right? I was captivated by Kaz. Kaz was the dude. And that was the beginning of my wanting to be an MC. And of course, Felix kept getting other joints. He got a lot of stuff from Harlem World that he was making me copies, and I was playing in my house in Rochester. And, I'm playing, the Cold Crush. I'm playing the Fantastic. I'm playing the Treacherous 3. The second MC that made a huge impact on me from these live jams was Kumo D, right? Huge impact. But as time starts to go on and I start to get more and more records, of course, as far as I'm concerned, the GOAT, Melly Mel, it's the GOAT, right? So I'm buying all these records, and I hear a record from this group. Now keep in mind, in '83, I'm back. Let me jump backwards. '83, I go back for the summer, as all of you know. I go back for the summer, and I go to this jam, and this jam is at Walton High School in the Bronx, and it's a battle between the Throwdown 3 MCs and the Throwdown 4 MCs. And I told you about this battle, I think, in the B-boy section of my story. The Throwdown 3 MCs had Kid Capri, though I didn't know it was Kid Capri. I knew him as Pooch. And the Throwdown 4 MCs, it was DJ Paradise Gray. And the Throwdown 4 MCs, I didn't know any of them, but later I would find out that Microphone Prince, who was in the documentary The Latin Breakdown, was part of that crew. I was at that jam and actually have the audio recording of that via the Microphone Prince, who actually recorded that. And you could hear some of that jam in the Latin Breakdown. So I'm at that jam, and again, I'm hearing these two groups go off, and again, it's so b-boying, MCing, but I don't start the MC quite yet. I go back to Rochester, and another group that I heard frequently in Rochester, we were going to this place called Skate Town. Skate Town was a skating place, and they had rap night, and they would go to the record shop that I was going to buy it was rap night. So they were playing all the rap stuff. And so I heard this group called the Fearless Four and this song called It's Magic. I was blown away, loved it. But the one person in the group that had a presence to me, this is just me. Ill One, what's up, man? Was the devastating Tito. He had a presence in the group. And it just captivated me, his cadence, right? And so, of course, DLB, all of them were dope. But to me, the devastating, and it wasn't because he was Puerto Rican. It was because of his cadence. He just had a dope MC voice. So we got It's Magic. We got what's the other joint from Rockin' It from the Fearless Four. Then we have Problems of the World Today from the Fearless Four. Then we have Fearless Freestyle, right? Where the four of them just go off and MC to this beat. And once again, the MC to me that took the cake on Fearless Freestyle was the devastating Tito. He rocked it. He ripped it, rocked it, ripped it, whatever you want to say. And so that's just me, right? So I'm hearing these groups and I'm in the rock. Remember, 83 back in New York, 84 back to the rock for school year, 84 back to New York for the summer, 85 decided to move there. So all this time, the summer of 84, now I'm hanging out on Valentine Avenue, around 196, 197th in the Grand Concourse, around Briggs, Bainbridge, right up the street from Poe Park. Anybody that knows. This is where Little Charlie Chase was. This is where the Ballbusters were. This is where HBO was. This is where, this is where these people were. This is where New York City Breakers were. And there was a record that came out the prior year, and it was called Fresh. And some of you might remember it, right? Fresh, 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 fresh. Yo, that's fresh. Well, the Fresh 3 MCs used to come around Valentine and hang out. And so we would always have boxes out, and they would plug in mics, and they would get on the mic and start the MC. So now I'm really, now keep in mind, remember what I told you, back in the 70s, I'm seeing Black MCs, but I'm seeing Puerto Rican MCs doing this too, right? But not as many. As far as I was concerned, not as many, but in 84, I'm seeing a whole lot more, right? In fact, I'll tell you about a jam we went to in 84. We went to this jam. Please forgive me, y'all. It's the allergies. I could have canceled it. I didn't want to cancel it. So as long as I'm not, it's just allergies. So please forgive me. Don't let that distract you. So we went to this jam in the South Bronx. And I remember it was a birthday party for this girl. And we go in and we go down. It's in the basement and it's packed, right? Members of the New York City Breakers are there. As far as I can say, the girl was a Puerto Rican girl, right? It was her jam, right? So we get in there, we're in the outskirts of the main room, and then you go and get into the main room, and it was a sweat box. It was packed, it was dark, and somebody was rocking some breaks, and there was an MC on the mic. I mean, ripping it. So as my custom is, I want to go where the turntable is. I want to see what it is. So I start making my way through the crowd, and the dude that's ripping the breaks, I mean, ripping it, was a Puerto Rican DJ. I don't know who he was. And that dude on the mic was a Puerto Rican MC, ripping it, tearing it down. I was like, and that's when I said, I want to start the MC. So I go back to Rochester. And in Rochester, I start going on the corners with my man who was a beatboxer. He was doing the beatbox. Now, I haven't started writing rhymes. I'm still going by the name of King Soul at this point. So I haven't started writing any rhymes. But I'm repeating other people's rhymes. But I'm not saying I wrote them. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, yo, check out this rhyme from Kaz. Check out this rhyme from the devastating Tito. Check out this rhyme from Boom. Check out this rhyme. So I would say these rhymes. And I remember my man Pozo. Miguel Pozo, my man. He was an MC from the Bronx, and he had moved to the Rock. He was the Zulu chapter leader for the chapter that he started. And I remember meeting Pozo. There's a funny story. Let me tell you a story. I'm telling you, yo, we got visuals tonight. We got flyers tonight. We got visual recording videos tonight of me. Somebody sent this to me. I don't know where they got it from, but this is of me in Rhode Island. But let me tell you how I met Pozo. So Pozo is, I'm in Midtown Plaza. I'm going up to this place called All Day Sunday. Long story short, I see Pozo walking. I said, that dude ain't from here. He had that New York bop Dominican kid, and he had some black beads on. There was already a chapter of Zulu in Rochester, so I had my beads on. And we didn't see each other as far as I knew. He would, like, when I saw him, he was already like leaving the mall. I get into All Day Sunday. He taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around and it's him. And he was real serious about Zulu. So he says to me, yo, what do those beads represent? He's asking me about the beads. And I said, the Almighty Universal Zulu Nation. He's like, peace, Aki. I'm like, Aki, peace. And so we start building. Found out he was an MC. Long story short, he starts telling me, yo, why don't you write your rhymes, man? Why don't you write your own stuff? You got a voice for this. So I start writing a rhyme. Long story shorter, I get into a group with Pozo. Me and him get into a group together. But as it would turn out, he would end up leaving Rochester. And in 85, I moved back to the Bronx to live in the Bronx permanently, which never really happened. That's another story. I think I told that story. So I ended up back in Rochester, and he's gone, but I'm still MCing. I'm King Soul, and I'm MCing. And then around 86-ish, I dip out and I move to Providence, Rhode Island. And it's in Providence, Rhode Island. At the end of 86, I want to be somewhere in there. The end of 86, easy. It's in Providence, Rhode Island that now I start to really get serious about MCing, because there's a lot of MCs in Providence. Providence was like a mini New York. It was graph all over the place. It was like a mini New York. It wasn't like Rochester. So I start to get busy, and I meet this DJ in Rochester by the name of DJ Bucket. And anybody that knows Rochester hip hop, not Rochester, I'm sorry, Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. Providence, Rhode Island. Anybody that knows Providence hip hop knows DJ Buck. In fact, DJ Buck is a radio personality. I believe he's in Connecticut, but Buck was that dude. And so Buck heard me. I don't know where I was. I can't remember, but Buck heard me, and he was liking what he heard. Now, everybody wanted to get with Buck. Buck was a hard dude to get with. He was a producer. He was rocking the SP 1200. He would make these. He was a sampling king. But he saw me one day somewhere, and he was like, "Yo, I want to do some tracks for you." I was like, "Bet, let's do it." So we start going into. I would go to his house, and we start going into his little studio, and getting busy. Boom, 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 and my rap career began. And this is, 87, 88, 89. I didn't meet him right away. So let me not say that. When I met him, it might have been 88, 89, somewhere in there, right? So eventually, in 1990, but wait. I'm no longer King Soul in Rhode Island. I took on a different name because of the one who inspired me the most was Grandmaster Kaz. I took on the name Shockmaster Laz. At that time, those names were like flashy, Grandmaster Flash. So I took on the name Shockmaster Laz. And I was getting a pretty good reputation in Rhode Island. So much so that there was a jam. I was in New York visiting. I was in New York with my girl visiting. We're at my sister's house. And I got a call from Providence, from a guy named Eric. And Eric used to work at this place called the Church House Inn, downtown Providence. And they were doing a lot of hip hop shows. And Eric contacts me and asked me if I would be willing to come and do a show. I say, yeah. You know, Bucket was going to be there, all of that. So I'm under the moniker Shockmaster Laz. And so I want to show you the flyer of that show and tell you a little bit of the details of that show. And so see if we could do this. We're going to go here, right here. Okay. And I'm going to take off this banner so you can see it. All right. Now, this is the show that he invites me to. It's actually with Ed OG and the Bulldogs. And this is, I don't remember what year this was. This was late 80s. I'm not sure if I remember what year Ed OG and the Bulldogs came out with. Somebody help me. Look up Ed OG and the Bulldogs. We got to have it. That was the single that they were coming out with. I'm going to look in the comments. So it was the 80s. I know that, late 80s. And so I'm invited to this show, and the special guest you could see on the flyer, the special guest host were the Awesome Two, Teddy Ted, Special K. They were down there hanging out. We were all hanging out together. And you could see my name on the flyer, Shockmaster Laz, right? So you see DJ Buck and DJ LaRock. DJ LaRock was a white boy, nasty, played with Red Alert. He was down there for school. I forgot where he was going to school, Rhode Island School of Design, some of that. But DJ Buck is there, and Buck spun for me that night. And, you know, we did our thing. We did the thing. So that was an event. And then there's a lot of local MCs as well as reggae artists that are there. Okay. So that's a flyer that I was a part of. Then, so I start to get kind of famous within Providence, right? I won a couple of contests. I was featured in a local newspaper. And so I started to do these shows. I was introduced to this man by the name of Bert Krenka. This is important. And Bert Krenka ran this place called the AS220 in Providence. There had never been hip hop at the AS220. Ed OG dropped in 90. So the flyer is from 91. Nah, it wouldn't have been from 91. It would have been from 90 at some point. Because 91, I became a Christian and left the scene. And I'm gonna get into all that anyway. But so yeah, the flyer got to be from 90. Because so let me say this. So when Ed OG drops, Ed LaRock brings the promo. And the people who are pushing Ed OG and the Bulldogs are the Awesome Two, Special K, Teddy Ted. So we got the pre-promo. Ed OG was from Boston. So Ed OG would come down and he would rock. He did 2 shows in Providence. I did both the shows with them. So anyway, thanks, Rand. Thanks. So the symbol, mid to late 19. Yeah. So that's about right. That's about right. Because I wasn't on the scene in 91, but I'll get to that. So anyway, AS220. So I'm introduced to Burt Crank at the AS220. This was this artsy loft space, right? Real underground, real gritty. And my man Otis brought me to see Burt and told him, this kid is a hip hop kid. Boom, boom, boom. Would you be interested in doing some hip hop at the AS220? And he's like, yeah. And then the rest is history. So we started doing this event at the AS220. And I believe it was between 89 and 90. 89 and 90 was the highlight of these events. And so somebody recently found these flyers of these events. Now, I put on these events. So I was kind of a promoter. I would make the flyers and I would put on these events. And I want to show you some of the flyers and actually the video clip that you're going to see that somebody just sent to me is from one of those events. And we used to call this event Unity in the Community, right? It was all about unifying just all the arts, right? Graffiti, b-boying, emceeing, DJing. So I'm spearheading this kind of movement. And so let me show you some of the flyers that we have. Let me see. I'm gonna right here. Here goes one. So this is a early flyer. The AS220 brings you Unity in the Community, featuring live. And this is actually the flyer of the video that we're gonna see. So we got my man Lily, who was a dope performer. Now you got to remember, right? The flavor and the style of does it say the year on here? I want to say it was 1990. It doesn't say the year, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the flavor and the style was really the baggy look, baggy shirts, baggy pants, right? So Lily, MC Chain was there. You see Shockmaster Laz, DJ La Rock was there. And this is at the AS220. This was an early flyer, right? No, here it is. It's 89. That's in 89. Okay, it says it right there. I didn't see that. It says 89. Some info are cut and pasted. On what? I ain't paying attention to you, doofy. So that's 89 right there. And then we have another flyer that I did right here. And this was also at the AS220. This is a flyer I did. And Providence rappers, Short Shot. And you can see my name in the middle, Shockmaster Laz, right? So the AS220 is actually, we leave that up there. The AS220 is actually doing a 40th anniversary. This is how I got these flyers, because there's a guy who's going to interview me because they got a real big hip hop program at the AS220, a youth hip hop program. And so Bert suggested, I think, to get in touch with Laz, because Laz was the guy who spearheaded hip hop and brought it to the AS220. AS220 was an artsy space for white artists, right? They were doing real off crazy, skits and crazy things like you would see in the Village. So we were bringing hip hop to this, kind of wild place. Bert's my man though, right? So this is a thing we did. Again, the AS220, I'm trying to look and see if it has the year on this one. Yep, 89. So it's 89. This is an 89 joint. And then we're going to bring this one up. And this is another one. This is actually from a newspaper article, as you can see, that they featured this event in. This event was being done, and they featured it in this newspaper article. Remember now, this guy from the AS220 sent me this. Apparently, they have these in an archive in Providence. So I'm not sure what he did. It does look like it's attached to some newspaper. I'm not sure. I haven't seen these in years. I'm the one who did these, and you can see me in the flyer, and there's Lily in the flyer. So this would have been another event that we did, and I'm trying to look at the year of this particular event. 1990, UITC, Unity in the Community. All right. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to show you. Somebody actually sent me a video clip of the event or one of the events, and it's real small. I'm going to play some of the music I did. It's not long stuff, but it just gives you an idea of what this space looked like. And as I'm playing it, you'll get a feel for what we're talking about. So let me do this. Let me go here. Let me share my screen, and we're going to go to right here, and we're going to go to right here. Yup. Okay, I'm good. We're going to go right here, and we're going to go to this one, but I actually want to be on the screen so y'all can see me. So this is Unity in the Community at the AS220. This would have been either 89 or 90. This would have been 89 or 90, right? So again, I'm going to let you see, but some of the stuff for copyright issues, I don't want to, I'm going to just zip by that. So there's some stuff you'll see. So here we go. Oh, wait, let me get to it. I'm sorry. Right here. So that's me doing the piece for Unity in the Community. I'm in the white hat. That's not me. I don't even remember who that is. Another local graffiti artist. That's me with the white hat. Doing the backdrop for the joint. That's me right there.
How long do you think it might take?
When are you going to start on the bottom half?
We probably have to start that tomorrow.
Yeah. That's all we need now is black. Black.
This is a piece I was doing for the event with this other kid. I don't remember who this kid was. Now, I'm going to skip through some stuff, but this is kind of like the stage. That's the guy, Butch Korea. He used to open the show. There's not nothing of me right here. This is like this is pre-show. This is some girl singing at the show. I don't remember who this is. And these were usually pretty full. We would get a lot of people coming through because it was like an event on a consistent basis. This is some other dude. I'm not sure who this is. I don't remember. This could have been MC Chain. I'm not sure. And here I go right here. So that's me, but I don't want to play that because of the copyright stuff. I'm rocking to To Be Real by who's saying To Be Real? I forgot her name. Anyway, I'm rocking to that, but I know they copyright you on that. So let me just go right here. Boom. So that's me right there. I got this dude in the back of me. I don't know what he was doing or who he was. I don't remember him.
January 1st.
So I don't know. There's nothing else. Let me see if there's anything else. This is my friend Lily that I was telling you about. He was like on some Bobby Brown stuff. Rocking the polka dot suit. Kwame look. But anyway, so that's Unity in the Community. This is another kid. I'm not sure who this is, but that was the space. The AS220, that was the space. Here's some little kids. Nothing else really with me in this. You know, again, people would, let me see. Let's see. So they're going to announce. Let's see. I knew some of those kids. So he's gonna shout me out. No, that's not me. It's somebody else. That's Archie. Anyway, so you see, this was some footage that I had of the night, and we're gonna stop that share. And let me see something. Hold on. Where am I at? Okay, hold on one second. Can y'all see me? Video. Here I am right here. I want to get this off of here. Okay. Oh, there I go. Okay. All right. So, yeah. So, you know, again, 89, 90, very different flavor. You couldn't see the whole thing, but somebody just sent this to me. So it was dope. So let's get back to DJ Bucket, right? So as I'm doing production with Buck, in 1990, I enter a rap contest, a local rap contest, and these guys from Brown University were going to put somebody on a record. They were doing an AIDS awareness record. And so the winner of the contest would do the record. I won the contest, and I'm going to play the track. Some of you have heard this track before, but I'm going to play the track. This is produced by Bucket. I want you to pay attention to the samples. This is 1990 now. The samples that I use, this is all Bucket. You know, again, it's 1990. So let's get it. Let's get it. Let me get to where I got to go. Let me present my screen. Boom. And let me go right here. Yup, right here. Boom. We're going to share. I'm going to make this big. All right. And let me put the volume up a little bit. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, take it from me. This advice is for free. Ladies and gentlemen, take it from me. This advice is for free.
Here goes the subject that I'm getting into. Straight to the point. Don't mean to offend you. Material things capture the eyes of all the fly girls and all the fly guys. I wonder why. Just to get a chain, you sell them drugs. Ain't that a shame? You're tempted, cause you want it real quick. Work for your money instead of trying to be slick. You watch the next man do all he can to get ahead, cause he used the smart plan. On the other hand, why do you wanna be waiting for action? Can't you see you're setting yourself up for all the rough stuff? Or is it a bluff that you're trying to be tough? You were never like that back in the days. Now you think crime pays because of temptation.
Take it from me. This advice is for free. Ladies and gentlemen, take it from me. This advice is for free.
Here's a little story of how I got tempted. I fell in the trap, but I never really meant it. Walking through a schoolyard, the middle of the summer. They're playing handball, and I can hear the funky drummer. My boy steps up, and he's guzzling through. The day was hot, so I guzzled it too. I looked to the floor, and what did I see? A big bag of cheaper looking back at me. I picked it up, and I broke out quick. I didn't want to puff, cause it makes me sick. I got to the block, I needed the money. I sold it to an undercover cop like a dummy. I went to jail, cause they thought I was big time. I sold the nickel bag, and that was my first time. I got off clean, walking out the court smiling. I bet I didn't go to Rikers Island because of temptation.
Take it from me. This advice is for free. Ladies and gentlemen.
in whatever you do. Try real hard and your dreams come true. Taking the easy way out, that's whack. Knowledge and wisdom is what you lack. As I rap, I try to come across the deaf, the dumb, the blind, and the lost. Always swear that they know so much. Now it's my turn to bum rush. So hush your mouth up, truth is truth. Temptation makes a person get loose. Who got the truth, wisdom, and education? Ignorance needs a vacation. You're coming a pack like a cigarette. I'm telling you, jail and death is all you get. Work for yours and earn your keep. Spread peace and stop the beat. Temptation.
Take it from me, this advice is for free. Ladies and gentlemen, take it from me, this advice is for free.
School was put here so we could all learn. Right about now, I'ma have to get stern, but let me not lie and say I was a good one. I feel bad for the things I could have done. I messed up because I was acting lazy. Once in a while, I tried to act crazy. I just wanted to be with the in crowd. That was silly. Looking back now, I'm drug free, and that's the way it gotta be. You can't tempt me. I have the power of G.O.D. Living and learning, but I'm still learning. The message I say is for your own concern. Listen to your teachers and become smarter. Without an education, life gets harder. Peace to the brothers and sisters trying, but many out there are still dying because of temptation.
Take it from me, this advice is for free. Ladies and
Temptation.
gentlemen, take it from me, this advice is for free.
Because of temptation. Temptation. Because of temptation. Temptation. Because of temptation. It's all because of temptation. Temptation.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
All right. So let me get myself. This keeps happening. Okay, I know why. Here we go. So yeah, so that was the single by Bucket, DJ Bucket. And anybody, man, anybody is feel free to, you can call the AS220. Let's put them flyers up again. I want to go through them real quick. I'm going to go through the flyers again real quick. So again, here's the flyer. Let me see. Yeah, it is right here. That's the Ed OG and the Bulldog flyer right there. And so we got that flyer. So we got the phone number. That was at the Church House Inn again. And then we got this flyer right here, 9 p.m. until, right? There was no time limit on so we started at 9, it went until, right? That's the way we did it. 9 p.m. until, $4 at the door, right? Just the phone number. And this is another one. Again, and then this is the event that you saw Lily in. And you can see that he was there doing that. So that was my MC days, right? As an MC. And then 91 rolls around. And 91, now you got to remember at this point, like the MCs that I'm looking up to, the MCs that are, the baddest of the bad and the coolest of the cool were Kane, KRS, Rakim, Cool G Rap. These are the lyricists that I'm looking up to, that I'm feeling, right? 1991 comes along, and I'm not going to get into all that, but I will say in 91 I became a Christian, And so I'm still very much part of the hip hop world. So I don't relate to church too much. I don't relate to church at all. But long story short, I became a Christian. I started going to church, but I still got hip hop in me. So I said, yo, why don't I just start writing Christian rhymes, Christ-centered raps? So again, I have a collection of music at home, and I start finding break beats, and I start doing pause tapes for me, just for me, right? And I start writing Christian raps. And I did it for the first time. I did it in a church setting. So, again, I'm still known as Shockmaster Laz, and I'm doing this in a church setting. And at that time, like, I never really knew that there was such a thing as Christian rap. I'm sure there was, but I didn't know about it because that wasn't part of my world. I'm coming from, like I said, I'm coming from Kane. I'm coming from KRS. I'm coming from the MCs, Coogee Rap, these dudes, right? And so I start to try to find Christian rap, and there's not really, and I found a couple. It was real corny. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, man, this is, because again, I'm coming from lyricism, MCs, and I'm like, what is this? Like, this is popcorn. This is cornball. It was a few of them. As time went on, though, I started to find some Christian rap that I was like, okay, this is dope. This is good. The lyricism is up. But that's as time went on. Remember, 91, 92, 93, I'm not part of that scene anymore, because I was going through some things. I got saved, boom, boom, boom. I don't need to tell you that whole story. But what I will say is I started to now get involved in the same kind of atmosphere, right? So I was doing events at the AS220. I was doing all those kind of events. In fact, I even did an event at the AS220 again, but as a Christian now. So I brought a bunch of Christian rappers, and this is later on. And me and Bert are still close friends today. And anybody that wants to verify my story, you want to verify my story, I give you more than enough. I welcome you to call Providence, Rhode Island, call the AS220 and ask about AS220 hip hop and who started that, ask to speak to Bert Krenka, the whole thing. I give you permission to do that, right? As if you need it. But anyway, so I start getting into these Christian spaces, and there's these events that I'm not even aware are happening. There's these events, major events. One of them is in the Bronx, and it's an event called Rap Fest. And Rap Fest would be held in the South Bronx every summer. And I said, let me go check this out, right? Because I heard there's a lot of Christian rappers that go there. So remember, I'm in the church now, right? But I'm still very much hip hop. So I go to the Bronx for this event, and I'm blown away. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. They had a full-blown stage. It was outside. They held it outside. There was a block party. They blocked off the streets, put a full-blown MTV-style stage out there, and these Christian MCs, Christian B-boys, Christian graph artists. It was like Christian hip-hop, right? And I'm like, wow, this is what I'm talking about, right? That's one of the reasons why I never got into church, because I couldn't relate to it. But this is something that's making me go, yo, this is dope. I could still be myself and still serve the Lord. Boom. Okay. So that was Rap Fest. And then I found out about another event in Tampa here that they were doing. I actually found out about this church called Crossover Church. And it was a church that was labeled as the hip hop church. And I was like, what? So I called it. I spoke to the youth pastor at the time. His name is Tommy. He's a friend of mine. And he was the youth pastor. So eventually, we became fast friends. And he was doing this event every year. He would do these events every 3 months. where he would take out all the seats in the sanctuary, in the church. He would put down b-boy floors. He would put down linoleum. It would be a standing room only concert. He would get lighting. He would do that, live DJs, MCs, the whole thing. And I was like, so I went and I eventually came here to check it out. I was blown away. Absolutely blown away. I said, Rap Fest was one thing, but this is in a church. Eventually, Tommy takes over the church. And now, as a hip hop dude himself from Philly, he says he becomes the pastor. And he says, now, how am I going to take my flavor, which he was doing every Thursday? It would be packed in there with people. Thursday nights was hip hop night at Crossover. Like they would announce it on the local hip hop radio stations, right? So all the B-boys, all the MCs would show up on Thursday nights, youth and young adults. It was crazy, right? There wouldn't be room for people to stand in. They had to put seats on the stage because there were so many people. And these are unchurched hip hop dudes showing up. So you got people showing up like Skill Methods was coming to Crossover and they were b-boying. In fact, when he took over the church, and what we're going to do, I'm going to actually give you a tour of what the church looked like so you can see what I'm talking about. I have the video of it. So Skill Methods used to come. When he took over the church, he actually put in a b-boy floor in the sanctuary, a wooden b-boy floor, a section. So after the service, all the b-boys would show up. Skill Methods would show up. You had Clown from Skill Methods. You had Abstract. You had Techniques, Rocksteady Crew, Skill Methods. They were all showing up there to battle. But this event now that he did once a year called Flavor Fest. This was this major event where people from all over the country will come into this one location to see church done in a hip hop flavor. That was right up my alley. So I went. Eventually, I got hired. That's how I ended up here. I got hired by Tommy to take his place. When he became the pastor, he was still doing the Thursday nights. It was just getting too much. So eventually, because he knew what I was doing things in Rhode Island. I was doing Christian hip hop events in Rhode Island. So he came. I featured him. I brought him in. He's a rapper. He's a national rapper. Don't know if he's still doing it now. He's still pastoring. That church is still there. So he hired me to be the youth pastor. So, now I'm there and I'm seeing this happening in real time. But I want to take you through real quick. So please don't tune me out just because it's talking about church. I want you to see, this is just my story of how I continued as an MC, as a hip hopper, even when, because there's a lot of people that think, now you can't connect the two. They don't even vibe like that. But I want to take you on the tour. This is a two-part little short video tour of the church, what his vision was, and he's going to show you what I'm talking about. He's going to show you the b-boy floor, and then we're going to actually watch a concert. We're going to watch a one-song video of a concert at Flavor Fest so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So check this out. Here we go right here. We're going to stop the screen. Let me present this right now. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to go right here. Boom. And we're going to go boom. And we're going to go boom. And we're going to go.
The way I see it, Crossover is street culture. It's about hip hop, breakdancing.
Everybody in the world needs to come down and see what God is doing through hip hop. It's incredible.
What we have to focus on is that the hip hop and the ministry in this genre can't be separated.
What's going on, everybody? This is Tommy Colon, Urban D, pastor here at Crossover Community Church here in Tampa, Florida. In 1996, I graduated from college and was really just seeking God on where he had me to go. And I came to Tampa and did an outreach with them in the housing projects. And just the Lord really put it on my heart and my wife's heart. We were just about to get married at the time, that God had us to come here to Tampa. There was no guaranteed salary, no benefit package plan, anything like that. But we just knew that God wanted us here and that there was a lot of potential here, even though it didn't look like much at the time. So we really came here by a big step of faith. And immediately we started doing programs to reach out to unchurched teenagers.
This is a hip hop ministry. We're reaching a lot of young adults, mostly, that are into this culture, that probably would not feel comfortable elsewhere, and they can come here and just be themselves and also hear the message, at the same time.
By the end of the first year, we had about 50 to 60 kids that were coming on a regular weekly basis. Most of them had accepted Christ. Most of them had no church background before. And just for the next several years, we kind of stayed at that level until we were able to develop some leadership. And around 1999, 2000, that's when the ministry really began to grow up to the next level and started attracting a whole lot more teens, up to the point where we had about between 150 and 200 coming on a regular basis. And so we took over in January, and God has just really done some awesome things this year. And it's been a lot of growing, and but through a lot of prayer and through myself getting some mentorship from some other pastors and reading a lot of books and just, it's really seeking God. Some awesome things are happening. God is birthing a lot of new vision. We're putting a lot of structure into place with the church, and we're seeing tremendous growth. We have over 100 adults that attend now on a regular basis. We have well over 200 youth that attend on Thursday nights. And many new leadership, many new families have joined the church. And we just really feel as a whole, our church is called to reach out to the unchurched hip hop culture. And we use that, the unchurched urban culture, and hip hop is the voice and the tool to reach out to them. So our church is very much uses that as a platform to reach people through the music, through the arts, through dress, just through the whole atmosphere. We want to make it comfortable to those people to come into an atmosphere where they can feel comfortable, but yet feel God's presence and his love from everyone that's here, where they won't be judged, but yet they can see something that's real. It's not watered down. It's not hyped up. It's not fake. We try to just be as real as possible. And that's one reason I think God has helped us become so successful for him, not for us.
All of us will just like pick up the whole church and just move it over there. And do live concerts. There'll be some underground groups and some other people out there doing live rap, DJing, spraying and breaking. That really catch the kids' attention. They love that kind of eye candy.
Most of the people that we reach out to here at Crossover, whether they're children or teenagers or even young adults or even adults for that matter, most of them a lot of them are from broken homes. A lot of them don't have a lot of consistency in their life. Pretty much everyone that's been in their life that said they were going to do this for them or be there for them, a lot of times haven't been. Most of our people here, a lot of them are fatherless. And one thing that we really try to give them here at Crossover is consistency. We do what we say we're going to do. Even though it seems like everything else in their life may be shaky and inconsistent, they know that they can come to a place where people care about them, people love them, and, they're going to be able to feel God's love. And a lot of these kids here, they do have a faith in God. They have some faith in God, but a lot of them, they have the wrong conception of really what God is and a relationship with him. A lot of them have had bad experiences in churches before, to where people have maybe judged them because of the way they've dressed, or maybe they just went to church before with their grandmother or something, was real traditional, and they just felt it wasn't relevant. And so what we really try to provide for them here is just an atmosphere that's very relevant, so they can come in and they can see, wow, wait a minute, God, I knew God was real. I believed in God, but wow, I didn't know it could be like this. And that's repeatedly a thing that we hear all the time. I didn't know it could be like this. Wow, look at this place. Man, I feel so at home. And they can come and they can praise God in their own culture. And it can become real to them. And so many people that are part of the ministry, and even some people that are in leadership, they accepted Christ and built a relationship with him right here, a few years back. And now they're part of the people that are discipling more people that are coming to Christ as we continue to grow. And that's just part of the process that Christ told us to do in the Bible is, make disciples of all men. And so we're just doing that to really a people group that most people have kind of either forgotten about, or they just don't know how to reach them, or they may think they're unreachable, but they're not. So God's doing some real neat things as we see some people that a lot of people would consider, man, I don't know if you could ever reach those thugs, or those, kids that are just in so much trouble, or all those people that are into hip hop. But those people have a soul, and those people, a lot of them are very spiritual and very deep. They're just not connected to the right spiritual things. And when you connect them to the real Christ, God really does some awesome things. Through the people coming for Flavor Fest, I think it's great because they get to do some hands-on ministry. It's not just a conference where they come and there's some workshops and there's a concert, but we actually go out there in the streets, do some hands-on ministry, and we're able to minister to people together. And I think that that's something that is powerful. And at the same time, it connects. It can connect those people that, hey, they might have not known there's a church right here that they can get connected to. And we do follow up with people and whatnot, and can give them rides, and we give them information on the church as well. And some of the people will be inviting them to the concerts out here at night. Everybody, they want to be accepted. I think that's the main point. And a lot of times with hip hop, people have to put on this front and act hard and just, put on a whole different facade. And when they come here to Crossover, we just show them, hey, just be yourself, be real. You don't have to act a certain way to be accepted. You can come here and dress the same way. But, leave an attitude at the door, because it's all love here. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. Everybody's accepted here. It's all love. And so that's one thing that we really just try to encourage them. And sometimes, there's some hard rocks and some hard kids that come in. They try to act like they're all that. But usually, because the majority of the crowd that's here, they respect what's going on. And then there is all love. We usually don't have any, beef or any fights going on. We did in the past when we first started, but as we've grown and the core has gotten real solid, people that walk in and they see that atmosphere, they see it and they're like, wow, this is different.
So let me go ahead and let me show you actually part 2. This is a tour of the church. I don't want to keep you on here too long. Let me just get back where I was real quick. Let me do that. Let me remove this. Let me stop the screen. Let me present. Let me share the screen. Now you're going to see a little bit of what the church looks like, what he did. It's not in that location anymore. It's actually somewhere else. But it was dope, man. This is where I was, first seeing this, and I was blown away.
All those people from those neighborhoods that come that night to the concert, because that's when it's really going to impact their hearts. Well, not saying they won't hear the word of God there, because they will, but basically when we're out there, it's the fellowship, it's to play some basketball, play some football, bug out with the kids, have fun, just to get them attracted to, we're no better than you. We're here, we do that on a constant every week, not as an outreach, but just as a daily lifestyle. We go to these kids' houses and break bread with their families, and they're not just another name in our books.
Glad that y'all came to hang out with us, and so come along and check everything out. Welcome to the Crossover Patio. This has been something that we actually built ourselves with our own hands, with our own sweat. And we've done this within the past year, members of the church, little by little, piece by piece, as we saved up the money, but it's pretty much done now. So we're gonna come check out the uniqueness of it. This is, each table was airbrushed, customized like a different Christian hip hop CD by our man, Ron Picardo. He's from Philadelphia, and he comes down here every couple months and does some different airbrush work for us. And he also works with American Bible Society with their hip hop program, and a real talented artist. So you can check out some of the tables here. These are some different Christian hip hop CDs. Also, as you come under here, we even got some restaurant booths. We have some different flyers that he airbrushed. We also have the wall back here, which my man Rames from Miami collaborated with Ron, and they did all the artwork out here to set up. And this has just been like a great area where people can come out, they can just fellowship, and just a real sense of community happens. We usually serve food out here so people can just hang out and congregate after service, which people love fellowship. People in the hip hop culture, they love to talk and hang out And so this has just created a great atmosphere where people can come and do exactly that. And the dope thing is that a lot of ministry takes place out here. A lot of prayer happens, a lot of people just get ministered to, and a lot of great conversations happen out here, and a lot of relationships are built. And I think that's the important thing. That's the strength of our church here. All right, gonna take you on down here. This is kind of like the serving counter here at the patio. This is where we serve all the food. We also got some ice cream in here. We serve different drinks and whatnot. Then we have the crossover cola right here, as you notice, customized and whatnot. Got all the different flavors, even got some Spanish soda up in that piece, you know what I'm saying? My man Joel back there. But anyways, over here, we have our brand new, just built, our skateboarding ramps, and our brand new children's pastor. He's formerly with Metro Ministries up in New York City. He's now our children's pastor here. Came on staff about a month ago, and he's originally from England, and he's also a skateboarder. And so we're going to be developing a hip-hop skateboarding ministry. And as you guys can see, just got the ramps finished, and they're going to be out here skating this weekend and getting that all started. So I'm going to take you guys inside, show you around in there a little bit. This is the main hallway, walking in the crossover. Just got a couple different articles and stuff, some different media articles that we've been in and whatnot, some different pictures and whatnot. We'll take you guys to our hip-hop shop right around the corner. This is the crossover hip-hop shop right here. Got about 75 different Christian hip-hop CD releases. Some are nationally known, some are independent. We also have vinyl for the DJs. We have videos, we have magazines, T-shirts. Even got some nice ice-cold drinks in the corner. Got listening stations right here. So, you know what I'm saying? You can check it out before you buy it. Coming in here, this is the main sanctuary, and we actually have all the chairs out because we won't be able to seat everybody tonight. Can only seat about 200 and something, so we can have much more than that tonight. As you walk in, this is our flyer table right here. We have all the latest flyers, all the different events that are coming up, all the different things. This is our prayer request wall. People are able to tag up their prayer request, and you know we have many people that come in here and pray over them. And after that gets full, we actually take it upstairs and put it in our prayer room. So as we walk in here, this is something you'll never see in any other church in America that I've seen so far, and that's our breakdancing floor. This is the official B-boy floor built in for the breakers, and you'll see a lot of footage of them getting down. And they used to mess up the carpet, so when we got new carpet put in about a year and a half ago, we decided, let's put some wood in for them. They'll love it. So the breakdancing ministry has really developed and grown. The guys just really love it because of that. And take you up towards the front. We'll jog up there. As you guys can see, we got our own DJ booth built in. Use our turntables as just another instrument actually during praise and worship. Do a lot of our more faster, up-paced songs with the DJ live. Some rappers mix in. Of course, we got some keyboards, some Latin percussion, some drums and bass and whatnot. Got the TV monitors so everything can be displayed up there with the PowerPoint with the words, and sometimes we show videos as well. As you look at the main wall in the back, my man Ron Picardo also did that mural. Since our ministry is called Crossover, the original meaning of it was kind of taking the cross over to the streets. And as you kind of see in the picture, it's actually a guy kind of crossing over from dark to light. You can kind of see him breaking the chains and kind of morphing, and the tears in his eyes. And then you see his hand reaching out towards heaven, and you see like God's hand coming down with the explosion. You see the silhouette of all the angels in heaven just celebrating and going crazy. There's even an angel like spinning on his head, you know what I'm saying? B-boy style with a DJ angel and stuff. But anyways, this is the crossover sanctuary. Doesn't look like your average sanctuary, but God genuinely gets all the praise in here, and a lot of people sincerely enter into true worship in this place. And so you'll see some of that later, I'm sure.
Well, Lord, we pray that we can just be part of that light that you put in us to just go out and reach those people and show them you.
All right, y'all. So let me just so yeah, I just wanted to show you that's so that was my exposure, right? Like, and that's why I started to work. So now I'm gonna end tonight by showing you an actual footage of these two brothers named Corey Red and Precise. Corey's from the Bronx, still lives in the Bronx. Precise is from Staten Island. I believe he still lives in Staten Island. And this was the vibe. This is the vibe at that church. I want you to see what it was like during a concert. So just peep it. Let me go ahead and present that real quick, and then I'm gonna come back with some final thoughts. I'm gonna even get into the comments and let's have a little conversation. It's all good, y'all. Let's check this out. Here we go.
All right, I want y'all to give God some praise for these brothers, Corey Red and Prasad.
Yeah, make some noise for the Lord.
Praise God. Praise the Lord.
Make some more noise for the Lord.
Hallelujah. Glory.
Now let's get it rolling, man. Turn that up. This joint is called We Coming Out. We on this new label called Life Music. Taking Christ to the mainstream, nah, man. Word up. 106 and Park and all that.
You pump that track in the
God's glory. For God's glory. Yo, listen to the lyrics. Yo. I walk the tundra, streets of violence, lightning and thunder, cash rules everything around me like a rotunda. With Christ at the center of my life, I'm not tripe, no longer slick talking. If you're not equipped, why you quit walking? I run around with ex-thugs who sold drugs, turn Christian on the mission, and we angry at the world system. If they snatching your civil liberties, to put like the Statue of Liberty, tell me who's your actual enemy. And why your favorite rappers falling, Babylon is falling, heed the calling as we preach apocalyptic warning. Storming the gates of hell, we will prevail. Spitting grammar with Jehovah's hammer, we always seem to hit the nail. In the spirit, I'll show you warring angels. On the battlefield, fading Satan's kingdom, flip on them fallen angels. The music industry's a roaring lion. And furthermore, it's more wicked than New York and LAPD combined. Time is running out, brothers thugging out. Look around, it's like the whole world bugging out. No fear, baby, we coming out. Shining like the sun is out. In Jesus' name, me and my man dumbing out. Christ is running out, brothers thugging out. Look around, it's like the whole world bugging out. No fear, baby, we coming out. Shining like the sun is out. In Jesus' name, me and my man coming out.
Let's go beyond the mysticism. Smash ideology, smash your philosophy, bash your astrology. The preaching of the cross went dormant, replaced with powerless speeches on positive reinforcement. So guns pop, young ones drop. Even Mikey smoke pot, and you blame it on rap and hard rock. Accountants embezzle, computer robbery next level, and little Susie prays to the devil. Nobody wanna hear this violence, random. They just light a candle and sing the national anthem. Ex-Jesus, ecstasy, sex diseases. So nothing can compare next to Jesus. Time short, so I rap hard. Every single track, God got no time to argue if he a black God, he the savior. Messiah the flavor, Matt Major the Omega. Jesus, there's no greater.
Time is running out, brothers thugging out. Look around, it's like the whole world bugging out. No fear, baby, we coming out. Shining like the sun is out. In Jesus' name, me and my man coming out. Time is running out, brothers thugging out. Look around, it's like the whole world bugging out. No fear, baby, we coming out. Shining like the sun is out. In Jesus' name, me and my man coming out.
I rock the blood band, the Holy Ghost grammar, New York, LA, and Alabama. With 20 ex-thugs singing those, and if not for Jesus, where would I be? Soldier Bobby, got to make you understand this is more than a hobby.
Jehovah's my father before I sell out. My old man catch me in the Vatican on one knee, kissing the Pope hand. And that'll never happen. God forbid I'm ever clapped and whatever. Catch me in heaven forever rapping.
See time slipping, so I get the rhyme ripping. Hoping every line hitting somebody who feel they mind slipping. Can you calculate what you seeing? God indwelling a human being, then got me ripping the MC.
Just as sure as players and pimps attract enough dimes. Rough times make enough rhymes. Now bust my spit Jehovah's mind through Jehovah's rhyme. Intoxicated with Jehovah's wine. A drunk man speak a sober
Bump
mind.
this in the sports bar, pump it in your sports car. Price everybody else get blown from the scorecard. Sure hard, getting men to repent to the Lord God. But Corey got to hit it, cause that's the end of my 4
Yo,
bars.
it's the thriller in Manila. Jesus Christ versus every killer. Compared to God, you not gorilla. The most villa, illest spitter, there's none bigger. Hip hop, DJ Jesus,
Zigga zigga. Time is running out, brothers thugging out. Look around, it's like the whole world bugging out. No fear, baby, we coming out. Sun is out,
Jesus name,
me and my man
coming out.
Time is running out, brothers thugging out.
Look around, it's like the whole world bugging out. No fear, baby, we coming out. Shining like the
Sun is out, Jesus name, me and my man
coming out.
Funk Flex, I'm here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So that, that was the vibe. Sorry for the technical. That was the vibe at crossover. That was a regular. That was a regular. There was a vibe there. And as somebody who came out of hip hop culture and then got into the church, I was like, thank God. Like I could still be myself and still rep the Lord. Right? That's all I wanted to show you. So my journey as an MC went from MCing in the 80s and 90s, right? Mid 80s to 90. I stopped at 90, but 91 and beyond. I stopped rapping altogether as a Christian MC in 2001. So, listen, man, my journey speaks for itself. I can, I probably shouldn't, but listen, there's people questioning the flyers. That take that. Get a life. Stop. Right? Again, my history speaks for itself. These are old flyers that somebody just sent to me. So anyway, that's my story as an MC. So we saw my story as a graffiti writer. We saw my story, and you saw me doing some pieces, doing a little piece for the thing. We saw my story as a b-boy, and now we saw my story as an MC. Man, but let's go to the chat. Let's build with some people. Let's see what people are saying. Let's talk it. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. Does that dude on the right look like Nori? Yeah. Yeah, that's Corey Red. Corey Red is from the Bronx. So Corey got an amazing story. Stick up kid. Dude was wild. He was a street dude. Dude was wild. Then he caught one to the heart. Ended up in the emergency room. Dudes were looking for him. They caught him. And he tells his story. And he flatlined. And, before he flatlined, he just said that prayer that a lot of people say, right? He's like, if you're real, get me out of this one. And he flatlined. And they brought him back. And he hasn't looked back ever since. But see, I know Corey personally. He's a friend of mine. He still got his flavor. He's a Bronx dude. Dude's still in the Bronx. But, so I said all that, man. Listen, people are going to question. That's a lesson that we need to learn. People will always question, your history. They got they're on here calling me a liar. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. I'm just telling my story. I don't have nothing to prove. But I do want to address. Let me address. Let me see something. Nah, I'm good. I'm not even going to address that. But anyway, man, anybody got any thoughts, any comments before we end it tonight? Anybody got any thoughts, any comments? Let's have a little conversation. It's young. The night is young. I know you've been through a lot. You saw a lot, right? So, so not only did you see the flyers that I did and the events that I promoted, but you saw the event itself, right? So I don't have no reason to lie. There's nothing to lie about. All right, let's see. Let's check it. I'm in the mood for a conversation. DJ Biggsy said back then in New York, churches have found ways to bring a lot of people to the church at the same time, collect a lot of money in the church. And now that's how it is continuing with you all and still lie. Oh, okay. Bro, I can't speak for nobody else, man. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Are you right? Yeah. Fortunately. But, that's why I just showed you. That's not what that was about, right? It's not what I'm about. But anyway, I appreciate the comment, though. Anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna take the bait. Tell me what I'm lying about. I'm gonna take the bait. Tell me what I'm lying about. What am I lying about? I'm telling you my own story. What am I lying about? Tell me what I'm lying about. I'll wait. Then you got the nerve. You the dude that got the nerve to write in here. How come you don't have an ending, the time ending of the event? Bro, don't you know hip hop flyers? Don't you know hip hop flyer? Let me do this, man. Let me do this funny. Let me do this, man. Let me do this. Let me pull up a hip hop flyer. Let me pull up a hip hop flyer. And let's just look and see real quick. We're going to pull up a flyer. And we're going to see if they don't say, some of them say 10 p.m. until with a question mark. We're just going to see. Let's see what it is. Let me just see. Oh, here we go. So you just said I'm a liar because the flyer is doctored because there's no ending time on the flyer. Let's look at this, bro. This is a hip hop flyer. This is Charlie Chase, the Cold Crush 4. Okay, 10 until question mark. Okay. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Bro, stop. Stop. Okay, so we're going to get back to what we were doing. Okay. But once again, you got to tell me what I'm lying about, bro. You're not making sense. I'm at the end. I did my thing. So, yeah, I'm open to a conversation, but you got to tell me what I'm lying about. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. Show all of what? Show all of what? The flyers? Did some flyers have an ending time? I'm not showing you nothing, family. I'm not showing you nothing. You're a clown, dude. I'm not showing you nothing. Go do your homework. Where you from? Like Alabama? Where you from? The South? Or where you from? Shut up, dude. Be quiet. Be quiet, dude. Show all of them. Be quiet. Now, what are you talking about? You dodging me because it's hitting too close. This is about how hip hop inspired you, not its foundation, right? How do church gigs tie to the origin of hip hop? That's not I'm not tying this to the origin of hip hop. I'm tying it to my story. It's my story. The MC story, my MC story. And as I got saved, I continued, and I'm showing you where I was rocking and vibing out. That's all. It don't got nothing to do with the hip hop story. It has to do with my story. So, bro, ain't nobody dodging you. Nobody's dodging you, son. But I tell you what, I'll take the bait even more. B-Boy Beats, I'll drop the link. Why don't you come in here and tell me what you're talking about? Let's go. I'm sure people would enjoy this. Let's go. So I ain't scared. Let's go. Here we go. We're going to drop the link. Here we go. Boom. Let's drop the link. Boom. Here we go. There's the link. Anybody want to come up in? Let's go. I'll take it. I'm telling my story. It's my story, my MC story. I'm not trying to crowbar Christian hip hop into the origin story of hip hop. Well, you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not listening. But anyway. So B-Boy Beats, the link is right there. Let's entertain the crowd. Let's entertain the crowd. Question, Doc. Let's see. Why wasn't any Puerto Ricans in the hip hop song Self-Destruction and Heal? I don't know. Because the main MCs at that time were Black Americans. I don't know. That was KRS's choice. I'm not sure. I can't answer that. But those songs were dope, and that movement was dope. Doper. There's a bunch of straw man arguments ad hominem now. Listen, my story just, Anyway, man, the link is there. If anybody wants to get in, let's get in. Let's have a conversation. The night is young. He says, hip hop is Bronx culture, right? So where was this at? Bro, hip hop went around the world in the 80s. Hip hop then spread out in the 80s. This was in the 2000s, what I showed you in Florida. Hip hop spread around the world in the 80s. The origins of hip hop is Bronx culture. Next question. Stop dodging me, bro. The link is in the chat. Get in the link. Hit the link so we can have a conversation. Hit the link. I'm going to give you 15 minutes to hit the link. Rand, you still with me or you dipped out when you heard the church stuff? Randy, what up? You still with me? Let's do it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to drop the link again. Let's do it again. I'm going to drop the link again. Let's go. Let's go. Here's the link. Here's the link. B-Boy Beast, let's go. I would love to have a conversation with you, man. But anyway, my story again. From the beginning of me being inspired by MCs in the 70s, and then being inspired by the MCs in the 80s, and then eventually becoming an MC and writing my own stuff, and then putting on performances in Providence, Rhode Island, rhyming in Rochester, putting on performances in Providence, Rhode Island, and then, getting saved and then becoming a Christian and then continuing on with Christian hip hop and Christian rap. That's just my story, man. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. The link is in the chat if anybody wants to jump on. The link is in the chat if anybody wants to jump on. DJ Biggs, I give you the opportunity. Jump on, man. The link is in the chat. Don't be afraid. Let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation. I guess not. I guess not. I guess not. But anyway, the link is there. Anybody want to come on in? Y'all are welcome to come on in. Y'all are welcome to come on in. DJ Biggs, what are you so angry about, bro? Like, really, man? What are you so you come on here to like you can't defend what you're saying, so now you're stooping to calling us stray dogs. Like, what are you so angry about, man? What you angry about, bro? This is deeper than hip hop for you. What you angry about? All right, you still haven't told me what I lied about, though. That's what I want to know. You still haven't told me what I lied about. I'm just saying, you still haven't told me what I lied about. Again, you haven't told me what I lied about. So you don't speak to liars in person. Okay, that's a cop-out and you know it. That's a cop-out and you know it. So I'm giving you the opportunity. All you want to do is stay being a Google gangster and talking reckless. That's okay. You're angry about something and it's deeper than hip-hop. But okay, I get you though. I get you though. Yeah, my man is in here just, But B-Boy Beats, the link is in the description, man. I'm not taking any more questions from you until you hit the link. We can have that conversation. B-Boy Beats, hit the link. I wonder who B-Boy Beats is. I wonder that's why he doesn't want to hit the link. He doesn't want to come on because it might be somebody we know. So B-Boy Beats, hit the link. Hit the link, bro. Dr. Colon, what language are you speaking? I'm speaking English. Truth Teacher, my man, my man. Truth Teacher, why don't you get up in here? Let's have a conversation. That's my brother. Truth Teacher, the link is in the chat. Let's get in here, man. Let's have a conversation. It's young. The night is young. Ill One, he says, is y'all Christian rappers ever have beef with them? I don't know. Nah, I don't know. I don't know. I never did. Truth Teacher, come on in, man. Let's have a little conversation. I just told my story. Thank you for being with me tonight, brother. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. No, but B-Boy Beats, I'm giving you the opportunity to have a conversation. People want to see a conversation. Let's have a conversation. I'm giving you the opportunity, man. I'm backing out. I'm telling you, come on in. There's no backing out. I'm telling you, everybody can see what you're writing. So I'm not backing it out. I'm not blocking you. I'm not hiding what you're saying. Come on in, man. Batch, my African-American brother, created hip-hop, not Puerto Ricans. Okay. You got who's Batch? Who's Batch? Oh, you're talking about Batch. Oh, you're talking about the conversation that Batch had. Hey, you got, did you see the video that I made with Batch? Did you see the video, the recent video that I re-put out? Telling you what Batch actually meant when he said that. Did you see that? I want you to go to my channel and look up the Batch video and watch what he said. I'm not going to play it here. I can, but I'm not going to do that. But I want you to go and watch it because you guys keep leaning on that clip without context. And I told you the very next day he told me what he meant. He was talking about rap music. But this new video, he tells you what he meant, and then he tells you what Latinos did in b-boying. You need to watch that video, bro. Oh, you in the subway. Where you at, New York? You in New York? I'm in the subway, or are you at Subway? I'm not sure. So you got, why don't you get in, man? The link is in the chat. Come on in. Come on in, man. We can have this conversation. We can have this conversation. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. You shouldn't have brought that up. Now we're going to have to do it. Now we're going to have to do it. Here we go. We're going to do it. We're going to play the batch video. You're going to have to excuse the language. You're going to have to excuse the language. But we are going to play the batch video. So let me find it. We're going to play it. Here we go. It's only 6 minutes long, so that's good. That's good. We're going to play it. Hold on. All right, we're gonna play this from the beginning. Let me go ahead. Let me present. Let me share the screen. And we're gonna dissect this point by point. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Here we go. You God, pay attention. Here's the famous clip that y'all keep using, but let's pay attention. Thanks, brother, for all that you do. And
Hold on. Brother, hold up right there. Hold up right there. Thank you for being a voice, with all respect, to my Puerto Rican people and culture. Puerto Ricans didn't start hip hop at all. My African American brothers created hip hop.
So let's read the caption. What did Batch mean by that? I spoke to Batch the next day, and he told me that he was referring to the rap music industry. He clears this up in this next clip. Pay attention, you God. Pay attention, my brother. Pay attention.
Nobody can tell me Latinos created hip hop. That's not going to happen because we didn't create hip hop. Because everything has everything that we create, it has to have a constant pattern in order for you to really claim it legitimately. Like for example, if you look back, if somebody want to debate, it was Latino that started rap. So we do a little history check. We go from Run DMC all the way up to Tupac and so forth. And then you look at the whole majority of the people that was rapping, that was African Americans. So you can't try to say that Latinos started rapping because we did not create rapping. I mean, it is obvious. There's a pattern. It's there. You can see it through history.
So what's he talking about? What is he saying Latinos didn't create? Rap. But let's keep going. It's not over yet. Let's keep going.
Well, y'all was there, but we're trying to chase.
But check this out. So, yes, we did have Latino rappers, but we was not the majority.
So when Batch refers to hip hop, he's referring to the rap music, and not the culture as a whole. Let's keep going.
The rappers, those are the elements. That element strictly belongs to our brothers, the African American brothers. You cannot take that shit away from them.
So he says the element of rap strictly belongs to African Americans, which is what I've been saying. The MCs is the only element that is predominantly African American. All the other elements are multicultural. But let's keep going because you want to continue to use the clip that Puerto Ricans didn't create hip hop. And you want to include that he's saying that includes breaking, that includes b-boying. But let's hear what he says. Here we go.
Period.
Now let's listen to Batch as he talks about TT Rock and where breaking comes from. Please excuse the foul language.
Try to do a 360-degree turn in the air from an up rock move. But when he tried to do that, his balance went off. So we're looking at this motherfucker, he's all the way up there, like his feet is right here. And now he's like this, like when somebody's gonna do a dunk, but he's falling backwards. Right. And we was like, oh shit.
he's gonna break his fucking head. So when he falls, what happens when you ever seen somebody when they slip on ice, black ice? What's the first thing you do?
Right.
Do anything not to fall and break your ass. If you look at a lot of those falls, you got an old lady, she looks like she's doing a little footwork. They got a newspaper. I took that article to demonstrate people how this dance came about. The old lady looked like she was rocking, but really she was protecting herself. So little Titi Rock did that. So he shuffled his feet, he did some crazy moves.
So notice when he says he shuffled his feet, he's giving the example of the same way a little old lady, when she goes to fall, she's going to do anything to break her fall, and her legs might be flopping around. That's all he's saying. And TT Rock did the same thing. He fell trying to break his fall from an up rock move. Let's keep going.
So we looked at him, and he looked at us, and we just all started busting out laughing because that shit was so funny the way he did it.
Right.
So what I did was I threw myself literally on the floor to try what kids do when we want to make somebody mad, right? If you fall, we're gonna imitate that. Right, we're gonna imitate. So I'm on the floor trying to imitate his fall, right? People were laughing. Then little Israel, little Lime, and all those guys. My man Spidey, Scorpio, all of these guys, they got down on the floor and they started doing all this crazy shit and laughing at TT. And TT looked at us and said, "You know what, guys? I ain't going nowhere today. I'm going to go to my house and eat something." And then, yo, you almost broke your ass. You know, that's the only thing we got to get off with him because he was a very complex kid. He
never really fucked up.
He was the type of kid that he was serious about shit. So when you joke around, you better know that it was acceptable. So he didn't pay us no mind. He broke out. Little did we know that mistake, that 360 turn from TT Rock hitting the floor. Little do we know that this was gonna become a motherfucking global sensational dance art form that the media now calls breakdancing. So I'm not trying.
Now, what he doesn't mean, he's just saying that what TT Rock did, fell on the floor, made a mistake, got up, got mad. They start imitating him. And it is the members of TBB. It's Batch. It's the other guys. These are Puerto Rican kids who start to continue to play with this, what he was doing. It doesn't mean that TT Rock created breaking, because number one, TT Rock is doing, and this interview tells you that, if you listen to the whole interview, it tells you clearly that TT Rock is hanging around a bunch of Puerto Ricans and he's doing a Latino dance called up rock. Batch actually calls it a Latino dance. So this is an African-American kid who is doing a Latino dance, supposedly, and he falls to the floor to break his fall. And Batch sees this and they see this, and now they start playing with this. TT Rock did not teach them footwork, but I don't have to explain that. Just listen to what he's about to say.
Trying to hog anything up. But during my times coming up as a b-boy, most of the people that was doing the b-boys was Latinos.
During my time coming up, most of the people who was doing the b-boying was Latinos. When is his time coming up? He begins in 1975. Let's keep going.
And check this out. All that shit that b-boy was around and you know, with the culture in 73, that's not true.
Okay, so now he says all the lies or the stuff that b-boying was around in the culture in 1973, he says that's not true. Listen, if you're going to say and accept what he said when he said Puerto Ricans didn't create hip-hop, this was African Americans. And then he clearly clarifies what he meant by saying it was rap music. that majority of rap music was from the African Americans. The majority of b-boying was from the Latinos. This is what he just said. And then he says that 1973, that's not true. Okay, because they saying, no, he's going to address these first generation b-boys.
I'm sorry. It's not true. And then you got these brothers, they call themselves the first generation b-boys. They're some old cool guys. I don't got nothing against them. But they said that they started that too the same day that DJ created everything in the house.
Right.
But my thing is this. I could show you hundreds of pictures from the 70s. Most of the people, just like rapping, most of the rapping is, Morenos, and then you got a couple of Latinos. Same thing.
So he says, just like rapping, most of the rapping is Morenos, is black people with a couple of Latinos. Now he's going to say the same thing is with breaking. Most of the breaking is Latinos with a couple of black people. Now, I don't happen to believe that. I believe that it was blacks and Puerto Ricans. Okay. And then eventually the Puerto Ricans dominated. But I believe at the beginning it was majority was black and Puerto Rican. Okay. So I want to be clear on that. But I just wanted you to hear what he said so you don't make the mistake of keep using that clip and saying, no, he said it's African. No, he's talking about rap music. Let's be clear what he's talking about. Let's keep going.
And with the b-boy thing, the opposite around this time, though.
So notice what he said. Rap was mostly Morenos. B-boying was mostly Latino. When he said Puerto Ricans didn't create hip-hop, he was talking about rap, not the whole culture. Let's just keep it a buck and stop with the shenanigans. Stop with the shenanigans. So let me see what kind of excuses are in the chat now. Okay. Anyway, I'm waiting for somebody to come in the chat. Dr. Colon, why you colonize? Bro. You asked me this, bro. You just brought up batch. I just showed you what batch meant and said, and now you're going to come with this. Bro, just own it. You know what? Batch clarified himself. Be a man at least and own that. But you're not. You're not. You're going to keep using that clip, and now he clarifies what he meant, and you still are in denial. Unbelievable. But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Bro, he don't want nothing. He don't want nothing over here. Don't tell me to reach out to DJ Faye. Bro, address what you just saw. Did batch mean? I need to hear you say this. You, God. Did batch mean when he said hip-hop was made by African Americans? Was he clear when he said he was talking about rap music? Yes or no? That's all. Was he clear? And then was he clear when he said the Latinos were the ones who were the most that you saw during his time were Latinos? Was he clear? Don't run from it. Don't bring up nobody else. Was he clear? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Bro, look at you jumping everywhere. What about Whip? But bro, stop. Stop. Was batch clear? I told you this the day after I did the interview with Batch, what he meant. But y'all kept saying, nah, he didn't mean that. And I just showed you what he meant. So now what is it, bro? Stop running around. He just told you what he meant. Now you want to run, what about Whip? No, bro, what about Batch? What about Batch? Let's deal with that. Stop running, bro. See, look at this dude. Look at this. The Bronx that, bro, what about Batch? You're a clown, bro. Get on this chat. Get in here. Get on the screen, bro. You can't even accept something when it's right in your face. What's wrong with you, bro? What's the matter with you? Unbelievable. You believe Batch got corrupt? I believe that this interview was done before my interview. But anyway, even if it wasn't, I told you, I spoke to him. And he told me, no, what I meant rap music. And he's telling you what he meant right there. Stop with the shenanigans. Oh, he got corrupted. They're paying him to that. Get out of here, man. Stop with the shenanigans. Stop with the shenanigans. You don't even know how to accept truth when it's right in your face. So now I want y'all to go and grab this clip and put it all over the internet like you did the first one where he said, no, it was all African-American culture. Bro, do the same thing with this one. Context is everything. Context is everything. There was no rapping in your culture. DJ Biggs, you just cannot stop finding something else to. I need you to address this batch issue too. You just heard it, DJ Biggs. Address this. Why don't you go to Scoreboard Keepers and have them put this video on? Waiting. See, that's what y'all resort to. Nonsense. Nonsense. Straight up and down nonsense. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You cannot even be honest with yourselves. You can't even be honest with yourselves. Oh my gosh. You lie. You lie. That's all you keep saying. You lie for each other and even have your OG lie. So now he's lying. So now Batch is lying. Somebody who was there, an eyewitness. They're celebrating 50 years as a B-boy crew from 75 to 25. 50 years, the longest B-boy crew ever. He's the president of the crew and he's lying. Now he's lying. But he wasn't lying when he said, when you put out the clip, you Puerto Ricans, the Puerto Ricans didn't create hip hop, but he wasn't lying then. Now he's lying. The agenda. These dudes are unbelievable. Bro, nobody's dodging you. Get on the live. Dodging me. What am I dodging you about, bro? You are nobody. You don't even, who are you? You are nobody. What did you contribute to the culture? Where are you from? What did you bring? I told you what I did. Graffiti, b-boying, and emceeing. And I gave you the receipts in all 3 videos. So what is it? Nobody's dodging you, bro. I dropped the link. Come on in. Let's do this live. The ad hominem arguments are incredible tonight. Incredible tonight. First of all, you're pronouncing his name wrong. His name is not Whipple Whip. His name is Whipple Whip. Okay. Whipple Whip does not become an MC until 77, 78. Ruby D becomes an MC in 76. Batch is a B-boy in 75. Who comes before who? Batch isn't an MC. He's a b-boy. He's a breaker. And even if Whip does start in 76, Batch still precedes him as a b-boy. I don't know what your point is. You can't even get this right. You don't even know what you're talking about, bro. You don't even know what you're talking about. This is a funny conversation. This is a funny conversation. Funny conversation. Okay, here he goes again. Look at this dude. Look at this dude you got. Trixie and Salsa. His name is Sasa, not Salsa. Bro, stop. You don't even know what you're talking about. You are hilarious, bro. You need God. You need God because you are out there, bro. What about Trixie and Sasa? What about them? Stop, bro. Stop. Look at what this clown's saying. Don't try to erase Black American creators from day one to put yourself into something that you assimilated. Give credit where credit is due and move on. Nobody's trying to erase Black Americans. We're saying this was a co-creation. We're saying Black Americans, Puerto Ricans, and Caribbeans created the culture that is known as hip-hop. That's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. Batch just literally told you that emceeing is predominantly Black. The B-boys, nah. No. So he just told you. Nobody's stealing nothing from you. Would you stop? Would you stop? Oh my goodness, bro. Let's give credit to where credit is due. Let's give credit to where credit is due. Who's the DJ that creates the merry-go-round, extending break beats? That's Herc. Who's the DJ that creates scratching? That's Grand Wizard Theodore. Cool. Somebody just told me the other day, Charlie Chase didn't create anything. What did Grandmaster Caz create? What did Tony Tone create? Nothing. They did what they saw other people do. So what did Charlie Chase? He did what he saw other people do. This is what all the DJs did. And you know what they saw other people, who they saw? They saw Herc. They saw Flash. Flash is a creator. Herc is a creator. Grand Wizard Theodore is a creator. Batch is a creator. Track 2 is a creator. Crazy Legs is a creator. They created something that wasn't there. Would you stop it? Would you stop it? Oh my goodness. Stop, liar. No, you didn't. Stop, liar. DJ Biggs, get in the chat, bro. You even say that the language in hip-hop is Black culture. Who says that? The language in hip-hop is Bronx culture, is street culture. This dude is an entertaining guy. This guy's funny. Stop lying. The break beats were already there in James Brown records. Was James Brown the only one who had a break beat? Was he the only one that had a break beat? Okay, I'll let you marinate on that. You God. Bronxdale created hip-hop, the first division Black Spades. According to Peter Williams, you know what? Now we're going to watch Peter Williams. Let's watch Peter Williams. Here we go. We're having some fun tonight. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hold on, Truth. I see you. Let me play this clip real quick. Let me play this clip real quick, but I do see you. But let me do this. We're going to play Peter Williams. Here we go. We're going to play the Black Spades video. Here we go. Here we go. Let's listen now. Let's listen and learn something, y'all. Let's listen and learn something. Here we go. We're going to play. We're going to hear it from a Black Spade himself. Let's listen. Let's listen. Let's listen. Here we go. Let me make sure my mic is still on. Yeah, it's on. Let's get it. Here we go. Let's listen. Let's start. Pay attention, DJ Biggs and you, God. Pay attention to the Black Spade right here, to Peter Williams. Let's pay attention.
We're going to get the whole thing straight. The whole thing about that, all right, like I said, we started the rap, we started hip hop because then it erupted. Well, not just one person started it.
It was a group. It was a group.
Everybody, was, like
culture.
you said,
It was a culture.
The culture. We played and spraying the seeds all around. And not just one gang, not just a Spade, the 7 Immortals, the Ghetto Brothers.
Not just one gang, not just the Spades, the 7 Immortals, the Ghetto Brothers.
You know, Seven Skulls. Everybody had their own little dance to it. They had a little Latin stuff to it. We had a little African Congo on our dance. So that's how that went. It wasn't just one person. Was one person claiming it is not right.
One person claiming it is not right. So it wasn't just the Black Spades. This is a Black Spade telling you this. He's telling you this. It wasn't just the Black Spades. It was the 7 Immortals. It was the Ghetto Brothers. It was the Savage Skulls. All of us brought something to the table. Would you stop?
No. Is that one culture? No, we can't do it. And another thing about the Black Spades, the Black Spades wasn't just black. We had Hispanic, we had white, we had all people in here.
I rest my case. I rest my case. Now I need you to go ahead and I need you to answer that. I need you to answer that, please. Answer what you just heard. Answer what you just heard. That was after. What are you talking about? That was after what? These gangs coexisted in the same time frame. What are you talking about? 7 Immortals had a division in Bronxdale. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. That's why you're babbling. He clearly said, now you got out of his own mouth, Peter Williams, a Black Spade, Fat Mike, a Black Spade, saying it out of their own mouth. It wasn't just the Black Spades. It was the 7 Immortals. It was the Ghetto Brothers. It was the Savage Skulls. It wasn't just one culture. He said it wasn't just one culture. But you don't care what he said. You don't care what he said. My man. My man. Oh, now you want to go to Guru. Oh, my God. Y'all are funny, funny, funny. God could come down himself and show you this, and you still will deny it. You will deny it. Oh, my goodness. Look at this guy. Bronxdale is the Roman Empire of hip-hop. Stop, Dr. Colon. You can't even spell my name right. You don't spell anybody's name right. I just showed you from a Bronxdale resident, from a Black Spade, what I didn't say anything. He said it. You wrestle with him. I didn't say anything. Peter Williams and Fat Mike both said it. They said it. Okay, but I just showed you a Black Spade who said the 7 Immortals, the Ghetto Brothers. These are blacks and Puerto Ricans. You're talking about let it go. And we're not letting it go. You need to let it go. We're giving you receipts and showing you what it is. We just debunked the batch nonsense. We just debunked that the Black Spades were the ones who started this whole thing when Peter Williams and Fat Mike say, no, it wasn't just us. It wasn't just us. Would you stop? That was afterwards. Okay. After what? I'm going to put this on here. It was after what? After what? When did this afterwards happen? What was afterwards? What was afterwards? Oh, here we go with the ad hominem. Puerto Ricans have an identity crisis. No, my friend, we know exactly who we are. Okay, and we know where this culture comes from. It comes from Black Americans. It comes from New Yorkers. It comes from Caribbeans. And there were white people involved in the beginning as well. So stop it. Stop it. We're not excluding anybody, but you are. And I just gave you. So when was the afterwards? DJ Biggs, when was the afterwards? Let me see if he answers that. DJ Biggs, when that was afterward. What was the afterwards? Okay. Black Spade First Division only had Black Americans first before others divisions came in. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that. We're talking about him saying this was not started only by the Black Spades. It was started by the Black Spades, the 7 Immortals, the Ghetto Brothers, the Savage Skulls. We all brought something to the table. You deal with that, bro. I don't know what to tell you. And here it goes. The ad hominem of the year. You liar. You're a liar. I didn't say it. Peter Williams said it. I didn't say it. I didn't say anything in that video. He said it. I'm not lying about nothing. Tell me what he said. You just heard what he said. You still haven't told me what I'm lying about, but that's good. This is hilarious. This is ad hominem at its best. Ad hominem at his best. Ah, my man, Truth Teacher. Truth, you here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, but you got a lot of wind going on.
Yeah, I'm in the city. Hold on a second. I'll be down in the station soon. Just hold on a few seconds.
All right. I'm gonna bring you back in. Let me remove you.
No. Leave me here.
Okay.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So listen, man.
Do you
Here's
see
the deal.
these guys in denial? Oh my gosh.
Of course, because you know something, at the end of the day, this has absolutely nothing to do with hip hop.
No.
What this is about is xenophobic racism. That's what it's all about. They're just using hip hop as an excuse to express their prejudice. That's all there is to it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, what they want from us, they want us to bend down on our knees and to big them up as being superior to us. Like their culture is superior to our cultures. And that's ridiculous. There's no such thing as a superior culture or a superior group of people. We're all just human beings. Period. End of sentence.
Exactly.
And every single culture on the face of the earth is interconnected with everyone else. Nobody exists in isolation from each other. Okay, American culture is an amalgamation of cultures from every immigrant group that came here, including the Africans who were brought here involuntarily. And African American culture is an amalgamation of different forms of African culture that African Americans did retain. So that's a myth that needs to be dispelled, this myth that African Americans lost all their culture, they didn't retain anything from Africa. That's bullshit. They most certainly did. And it's there, and you can see it if you know where to look and if you know what you're looking at. African Americans did retain a lot of culture aspects from Africa. And that was blended with aspects of European culture. Every single culture on this side of the Atlantic is a blending of European, African, and Native American cultural aspects, because that's where everybody came from over here. The only people that are native to this side of the water are the Native Americans. Everybody else came from somewhere else, either voluntarily or involuntarily. So everybody, when we're talking about forms of American culture, everybody brought something to it. But now when we're talking about this aspect of subculture, it formed in New York City, which is one of the most multicultural areas on the entire planet. Everybody in the world is here. And in the Bronx in particular, who was there? It was African Americans, it was Spanish-speaking Caribbeans and English-speaking Caribbeans and French-speaking Caribbeans. Okay, we were all there. There were Jews there, there were Italians there, even though I wouldn't say that those two groups had like strong involvement, because by the time the 70s came around, by the time the mid-70s came around, those two ethnic groups who are classified in this society as white, for the most part, they started leaving the Bronx. So who was left behind? Who was left behind was the West Indians, the English-speaking Caribbeans, the Spanish-speaking Caribbeans, and the French-Spanish-speaking, the Spanish-speaking Caribbeans, Spanish-speaking Caribbeans, and African Americans. That was largely who was left. When the buildings in the South Bronx started getting burnt down, who was there? It wasn't white people living there at that time. It was us. And we were all living there together because so-called white people didn't want us living in their neighborhoods. Let's just keep it 100. So we all lived with each other. And we created with each other. We borrowed elements of culture from each other. So yeah, rapping was the element that was dominated by African Americans, because I mean, yes, you can see like the predecessors of cultural continuity in African American culture, that rhyming, yeah, they, regardless of where they got it from, whether they retained it from Africa or they picked it up somewhere else, they did something with it that nobody else did. But here's the thing, rapping as we came to know it, it didn't just come fully formed, it evolved over time. It evolved over the course from, I would say, the mid-70s to the late 70s, because in the beginning, there were no rappers at the jams. It was all the DJ. It was the DJ that was most important, not the rapper. Even when rapping became a thing, the DJs were still the most important element.
It was the DJs and the B-boys.
It was exactly. But between
the foundation.
But between all three of them, I mean, like, okay, the B-boys are the ones that kicked it off because the DJs started playing the way they did to cater to the B-boys.
Right, exactly.
But once it got formed, the most important element was the DJ. The DJ reigned supreme, because without the DJ, you don't got no B-boys. Okay? And without the DJ, you don't have no rappers. What are they going to rap to if the DJ isn't playing the music? What are B-boys going to dance to if he didn't have the music? You know, so the DJ was the most important element. The rappers didn't start becoming prominent until it went commercial, because the rapper was the one element that corporate America could exploit financially. And that's what happened. That's why now when you say hip hop, everybody thinks rapping.
Right.
Because it's been taken out of context, right? Because the media structure, that's the one element that they can control and they can export, they can commercialize it. So that's what we see. And everything about it is really driven by the corporate media. So when you talk about, well, why you don't see Puerto Ricans in rap, that's because the corporate media, which was owned by white people, still is owned by predominantly white people. They didn't know what to do with Puerto Ricans. They can market Black Americans, and let's face it, as a demographic, there's more African Americans than Puerto Ricans in this country. But you see, the 80s is this period of time when music started to be broken up into different genres, and even Black artists were having problems if they didn't fit into the right box that the media bigwigs thought. They had a hard time selling their music. For example, Miles Davis, he didn't want his music being categorized as jazz. Why? Because that would put him in a box. That would limit the amount of exposure that he could have and the amount of money that he could make. He didn't want to be pigeonholed, but this is what we start to see happening. We start to see artists being limited. Oh, you're Black, you can only do this, that, and the third. This is why we don't see a lot of Black people in country music anymore. Even though Black people had a hand in developing country music, we don't see them because they figure, oh, country music, that's a white thing. We can't market a Black country singer to a white audience, and vice versa. So Puerto Ricans, they didn't know what to do with them. They don't look like what they think an urban inner city youth is supposed to look like. They didn't fit the image. And so they didn't get put on. That had nothing to do with whether or not Puerto Ricans were involved in rapping, even though they were not dominant in rap. They were Puerto Rican rappers. But they never got.
I don't agree. I don't agree with your statement that you just made, where you said they didn't fit the urban look. I don't know where that's.
Well, according to the white media.
Oh, according to them, yeah. I mean,
according to them. Now we all know. Come on, we all living in the same neighborhoods. We know what the real deal is.
Right.
But when we're talking about the music industry and the corporate media, they're not from our neighborhood. These are, sorry to stereotype, but these are white people who don't live in our neighborhoods. A lot of them don't even live in New York to know. And so they're marketing this music to the country as a whole. And they think, okay, well, who are we going to market it to? So they figure, okay, well, everybody, they understand, inner city Black people, we can market that image. But now you see a Puerto Rican, are they Black? Are they white? Like, what the hell are they? Some of them look white, some of them look Black. We don't know what the hell to do with them. So we don't know how to market them. We don't know, how to create an image for them. So they don't get put on. That's what happens.
Right.
But they were there. So all of this is just pure nonsense. No one is trying to take anything away from African Americans whatsoever. There's no way that you can do that. How are you going to do that?
Right.
Everybody knows, come on now, all of the musical genres that have been created by African Americans, all of the artistic creations that African Americans have done, how can you possibly erase all of that history?
Right.
It's not possible. It's not possible. So all of this paranoia it's bullshit. There's no way that you can do that. There are universities all over the world who are studying and documenting the artistic creations of African Americans in every area. Nobody's going to forget that. That information is not going to be lost. It cannot be lost.
Right.
So what are you upset about? There's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing to be threatened about because, come on, man, it's like the amount of accomplishments that they have, it's too big to sweep under the rug. You can't do it. Even if you want to, you could never do it.
I'm going to put you on the main screen. You keep talking.
You know, listen, you got kids all over the world that they can't speak a lick of English. But when they see certain art forms, they know that's coming from Black Americans. They know that. Everybody knows this. But hip hop, or what we call hip hop now, it's not just rap music. And hip hop music is not just rapping. The African American artists who were sampled by the DJs were artists. And you see, this is the problem that a lot of people talking have. They're not artists. All you people out there flapping your gums, you are not artists. You are not creative people. You don't understand how art is created. African American artists are listening to all kinds of music. They're drawn from all different types of sources, all different kinds of influences. And they are using their talents to incorporate it into their creations to make something new and original all the time. So the fact that you have in Motown, in jazz, in funk, in soul, in disco, you have African American artists who borrowed elements from Spanish-speaking Caribbean people, and they incorporated it in their music. That is not a come down for African Americans to realize that fact. That doesn't knock African Americans down a peg or put them below anybody else. In order to take an element that is not from your culture and integrate it into your culture, you have to be extremely talented in order to do something like that and do it successfully. Do we hear congas and bongo and timbales in the works of Motown singers? Yes, we do. Do we hear it in the works of funk musicians? Yes, we do. Do we hear it in disco songs? Yes, we do. It took a lot of talent and genius for African American artists to take those elements and incorporate it in their music successfully. So how are you going to look at somebody like that and say, oh, well, you know, we're less than? It's impossible. And for the record, African Americans who borrowed elements from Latin music didn't do anything different than what musicians from all over the world have done. You have musicians in Egypt who incorporated Latin influences in their music. It's still Egyptian music. You have people in India who incorporate Latin elements in their music. It's still Indian music. Go listen to Bollywood. Go watch Bollywood movies and listen to that music. They incorporate it. Latin musicians have incorporated elements from African Americans in their music. It's still Latin music. Jamaicans have borrowed elements from Latin music. Jamaicans have borrowed elements from African Americans. Jamaicans have borrowed elements from white Americans. As quiet as it's kept, country music is big in Jamaica, believe it or not. So yeah, Jamaicans were listening to Fats Domino. They were also listening to Doris Day. Let that sink in. The first song that won the first Sound Clash in Jamaica was a Latin song. It was Mambo Number 5. What was his name? Perez Prada. We're all listening to each other. We're all incorporating elements from each other. That's just a normal thing. Even so-called white music in this culture is not 100% European. You go to the Appalachian bluegrass music, they borrowed a lot from African Americans. Every single genre of music in America is a blend. Jazz borrowed influences from Europeans. Bluegrass borrowed elements from African Americans. Every single form of pop music today has the stamp of African Americans on it. We're all listening to each other. Quincy Jones was one of the greatest musical geniuses, not only in the United States, but in the entire world. Quincy Jones went to France, he went to Europe to learn from the French how to compose music with the strings. Why? To enrich his music. So when you're an artist, you borrow elements and you learn from other people. That's how you grow. But you see, you people out here, you're trying to take art and you're trying to take music and you're trying to turn it into a racial issue.
Let me address something. Let me address something real quick. Look at the screen. So he says, Colon stated that there is no such thing as Black American culture.
When did you say that?
When did I ever say, I'm going to put myself on the screen? That's a crazy statement. Hold on, let me put you on too.
Look, let me say something to you and listen very, very closely.
Well, let me address this. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Did I ever say that there's no such thing as Black American culture? I said that hip hop is not Black American culture, it's Bronx culture. That's what I said. I would not be foolish enough to say there's no such thing as Black American culture. What? You know, that's the dumbest thing you said tonight. But continue.
Listen, let me say this. African Americans do not have a culture. African Americans have several distinct regional cultures. You understand what I'm saying? The African American communities in New England have their unique aspects of culture. The African Americans in the Carolinas have their specific unique culture. And even in the Carolinas, you have distinctions. You got the Gullah Geechee in South Carolina, and their culture is distinct from other African Americans in the Carolinas who are living more further inland. You have a distinct culture of African Americans in Louisiana and parts of Texas. You have unique aspects of culture from African Americans who live in Oklahoma and the Midwest. Everywhere African Americans were, they created new cultures to fit the circumstances that they were living in. So they don't just have one form of culture, they got many. You got the music from the Gullah Geechee, that's one for the ring shout, that's one example of a musical genre. Then you've got Zydeco in Louisiana and parts of Texas because people migrated from Louisiana into Texas. You got that. You got bluegrass music in the Appalachian Mountains. So you got the blues coming out of Mississippi. And of course, yes, we have jazz that was, created by African Americans with influences from, other people. So you've got a plethora of different examples of culture in the African American community as a whole. So African American, if you want to think about it, think of African American as one of my friends told me. You can think of it as African American is the umbrella. But in that umbrella, all the little spokes are all the different regional things, communities that you have across the United States. And they all have things about them that are unique to them. So I don't get where this insecurity is coming from. The only way you can really be that damn insecure and butthurt is if you have no idea of the full extent of your culture. And I think that that's where most of you guys that are getting so heated and upset are. You really don't know about your culture. You think that your culture is whatever you see in the movies and on the TV. And that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of African American culture in this country, or cultures in this country. So yeah, like hip hop, of course, there's a foundation of African American culture in there. I would say it's a foundation, but it's not the only element. Puerto Ricans were involved, West Indians, English-speaking West Indians were involved, and we all added different things in different areas in different ways. So sometimes the influences are not really like in your face and obvious. So no, like Jamaican DJs did not create hip hop around Jamaican music. But what they brought were certain technical techniques and certain ideas. That's what they contributed. Puerto Ricans, they brought their elements musically. The Puerto Rican and the Cuban elements in the music were there in American music as a whole. Don't forget, hip hop music is formed out of recycling old styles of music.
Right.
They recycled, they took the music from, and James Brown was not the only one. He's an important part for sure, but he's not the only one. They took funk, they took jazz, they took what we would call white boy rock and roll music. They took disco, they took anything and everything that they could, looking for the elements that they wanted to extend and, blend and all of that. It came from many different areas. So in American music in general, you had that Latin influence in all forms of American popular music. So of course, when the DJ starts sampling different elements from different records, the Latin element was already in there. But that doesn't mean that those songs were Latin songs per se, even though there are a few cases where they absolutely did sample, like some salsa songs or whatever. But by and large, those were, songs that came from American artists, both black and white, that had Latin elements already in them. Then we can talk about, like Puerto Ricans, blacks, which, a quarter of them were from the Caribbean. They were into graffiti. Okay, they were into graph writing. That developed in the mid-70s. It had always been around. That's the one element that's probably older than all the other ones.
Right.
Okay, but it really starts being developed into an art form in the mid-70s. That's when they start taking the letters and they start making it more abstract. They start adding elements of calligraphy and, making the letters more three-dimensional, really, incorporating vibrant, bold colors. That's when all of that starts to develop. And in that element, there were white people, there were black people, there were West Indian people, there were Puerto Rican people. And everybody is vibing off of each other. Everybody is being inspired and motivated by each other, because there's also an element of competition.
Right.
That's the driving engine in everything in hip hop culture. There's that competition.
Mm-hmm.
You have to outdo the next person. So you're a DJ, you got to be a bigger DJ. You got to do it better than everybody else. You're a graph writer, you got to come up with something that's better than what everybody else is doing. You a dancer, you got to come up with moves that nobody else has done. You got to do it better than everybody else. It was that spirit of competition that is responsible for the evolution of what eventually came to be known as hip hop. If it wasn't for that element, it would have just, these things would have just came and went. But it was that element of competition that was the heartbeat that drove hip hop culture to elevate and evolve to what we begin to recognize it. And in the arena of dance, the Puerto Ricans dominated. So it doesn't matter who started what first. The fact of the matter is that by the time the late 70s started rolling around, the first version of breakdancing was considered played out. All right? Nobody was doing that anymore. And it was a small group of Puerto Ricans that kept doing it. We used to laugh at them. Oh, look at them. They're still doing that played out shit. Because back then, in the culture, dancing was very important in a way that it doesn't exist today. If you wanted to be down, if you wanted to be cool, whatever, you had to know how to dance. And every few months, there was a new dance that came out. Every time there was a new hit song that came out, there was a new dance that went with that new song. And you had to know that new dance because God forbid you show up to the party and you still doing the old style dance. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to clown you. So for breaking to keep going, that was unusual. That was really stepping away from the way we did things. And it was the Puerto Ricans mostly who kept it going. And they are the ones that kept building on it. They made it more complex. They made it more detailed, more codified. They're the ones that put it out in front of the public. And now it's global. It's worldwide. There is not a country on the face of the earth that you can go to today and you're not going to find somebody doing some form of breaking. It is what it is. And whether you want to say, like I've been saying in the past lives that I had, even if you want to say, okay, it was black culture, well, you know something? You don't have to be from a particular culture to excel in aspects of that culture and to innovate and make something new. I'm a Jamaican. I didn't know until very recently that I have Egyptian ancestry. I didn't know that. But that didn't stop the fact that I am an Egyptian dance. I teach and perform Egyptian dance. I'm on my way back home. It's like my butt is falling off, man. I've been up since like 10 o'clock this morning, man, teaching dance classes. And now I'm on my way home. I'm known out there. Americans, for the most part, if you hire a belly dancer in the United States anywhere, 99% of the time, that dancer is not going to be from the Middle East. They're from everywhere but. They're African American, they're white, they're Latina, everything else but Egyptian or Lebanese or Turkish. We have created a global market for this dance form. Global market. So now you have performers from Egypt that they have a valid career now because we have created a platform for teaching. So you have a lot of dancers in Egypt that, like they retired or whatever, And now they've got a new career because they're going all over the world teaching workshops and seminars and performing. We created a platform for them. They're making, listen, a lot of the dancers in Egypt, they prefer to work in the international dance community instead of performing in Egypt. Because in Egypt, a dancer does not get any respect. People don't get involved in dance in Egypt out of a sense of artistic passion. They get into dancing as a way to pay the bills. Because these are people from poor backgrounds, they really don't have an education like that. They don't have social connections like that. They're coming from poverty, and being a dancer is one way that they can pay the bills. And for the most part, it's not a profession that really pays very highly. It's like blue collar work and low class blue collar work at that. So you don't get any respect. All those girls out there dancing, they do not get respect. And as soon as they can, they exit. They find somebody to get married, and once they get married and they retire, they completely forget about that part of their life. They don't want to be reminded of it. They don't want to know about it. They don't want nobody else to know about it. But because people in the United States, people in Europe, people in Asia looked at this dance and we saw the artistic merit that it had, we started creating workshops and teaching seminars, teaching choreography, and that created a platform. We're the ones that went to Egypt and we convinced those people, hey, there's a lot of people. We've seen your videotape. We've seen, TV programs of your performances. Could you come to, the United States and teach, a class? They didn't even know how to teach. Because in Egypt, nobody goes to school to learn how to dance. It's not like ballet. It's more like salsa and merengue and breaking, hip-hop dance. You learn at home. You learn socially. So when you become a professional dancer, people say, oh, well, you already know how to dance. You just want to get paid for it now. They are making, when I tell you, a lot of these folks are making buku bucks teaching on the international circuit. There's one dude, and it's not very common. It's very uncommon to see a man performing this dance in public. They'll dance at weddings socially, but to do it as a profession, no, because it's a female-dominated field, and it's considered low class to get paid for it. But there are a few guys who started performing in very specific areas in Egypt, and the dance community reached out. There's one guy in particular, his name is Tito. He was dancing in one of the resorts in the Sinai Peninsula, Sharm el-Sheikh. And he's very talented, a lot of charisma. And dancers from the international dance community, they found him and they're like, yo, can you come and teach for us? Listen, he's teaching all over the world and he charges like thousands of dollars to show up, to teach a dance seminar and to do a show. Whereas when he was dancing in Egypt, look, I could have been performing in Egypt in that same resort. I went there, I checked it out. When I found out how much money they were paying the dancers there, I was like, I might as well stay my black ass right here at home. I can make more money here than I could over there. So he went from making maybe $200 for a performance to making thousands of dollars in one weekend. You know how much money that man making now? He's got himself a big house. He's got all kinds of things going. He's eating good off of the money that he's making traveling around the world. So that's an example of people who are not from a culture creating something within a culture. And we find that all over the world. All over the world. One of the most prolific jazz musicians, Django Reinhardt, I think. He was a gypsy. That wasn't his culture. Jazz, American culture was not his culture. Jazz was not his background, but he got involved in jazz and he became one of the most celebrated jazz musicians. I have a friend, African American. His name was, he's passed away. Rest in peace. His name was Muhammad Abdul Malik. He was a Muslim brother and he was a jazz musician. You can find his music on YouTube. Just type in Muhammad Abdul Malik. He was the first jazz musician to incorporate Arabic music into his compositions. And when he started doing it, everybody was telling him, "That's stupid, you're crazy, you can't do that." He did it. He was the first. And then other people came behind him and started following him. Now you got jazz musicians that incorporate all kinds of music from all over the world into their music. It's a thing. Listen, African Americans were not actors. Acting doesn't come from African culture. Theater doesn't come from African culture. But you're going to tell me that all the African American actors and actresses don't deserve their flowers for what they've done? You're going to tell me that they have not elevated the field of acting and theater? You have African Americans who are phenomenal opera singers. Some of the most legendary opera singers in the world are African American. Leontine Price, Marian Anderson. You're going to tell me now, does opera come from Africa? No.
Right.
That's European culture. But they are in that culture and they are innovating it and they're owning it and they are creating and contributing and helping to evolve it and pushing the boundaries. So we all borrow elements from each other. We all get involved. Come on now, you're going to tell me that you can't have African Americans dancing in the ballet? Alvin Ailey.
Right.
Come on now. Come on now. The mother of African American dance was Catherine Dunham, who I'm honored to say I had the privilege of performing for in Chicago before she died. Modern dance in America owes a lot to Catherine Dunham. And Catherine Dunham went all over the Caribbean. She went to Haiti. She went to Cuba. She went to Jamaica, researching the folkloric dances there, and she blended it with ballet. And she blended it with African American folk dance to come up with modern dance. So when you see these white people, like what's the most famous modern dancer, white lady? Oh gosh, I had her name on the tip of my tongue. Martha Graham. Doing modern dance, and you see the way she's using the body, and they're contracting and releasing, contracting, and they're using their hips. That comes from African descended people. European people don't dance like that. Right. European people don't move their spine. They don't move their hips. They got that from us. Catherine Dunham went all over the Caribbean and in the South. She went to all of these communities in the South, in the United States. And then she finally made her way to Africa, and she went to Morocco, and she went to different parts of West Africa. And she incorporated all of these elements to make a modern American dance form. Alvin Ailey comes out from underneath Catherine Dunham. So you see it like now, if you're on YouTube, you're being inundated with these commercials from this Chinese dance group Shen Yun. Discover 5,000 years of history. Look at what they're doing very carefully. There's a lot of ballet in their technique. There's a lot of ballet in it. They blend it with their Chinese traditional dance form, but people all over the world are borrowing from each other. This is a normal thing.
Right.
This is what artists do. It's not about race. Art transcends race. Art is about the expression of the human spirit. And we are all human beings. This whole nonsense about race and color and who's black and who's white and who's mulatto, and this is all nonsense that was created by slave owning colonizers. The human spirit is what is real and important, not these racial categories that change across time periods, and every time you cross a border, you're a different race. In the United States, some people look at me, they say he's black. Some people look at me, say, oh, he's Latino. Some people look at me, oh, he's Middle Eastern or North African. If race was really something real, how come everybody getting the shit wrong? They don't know where to put me. So that's not real. What is real is the human spirit. And African Americans were human beings just like everybody else, and they have the same human spirit. They have the same mind. They have the same brain. They have the same capacity for intelligence and creativity. And so does Puerto Ricans and English and French speaking Caribbean people. We are all human beings, and we all have a human spirit. And that is what art is about. Art is the expression of the human spirit, and it has no limits or boundaries.
And with that said, I gotta go.
Me too. I gotta catch my train.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right, man. Appreciate
Be
you.
blessed, everybody. And to our brothers out there, man, you all need to just get off this.
All right. All right. Listen, guys, we're going to end. We've been on here for a while. This was not meant to be a debate. This was meant to be about my story of being an MC. And I think I showed that. And, so it is what it is. I find it funny that people are, picking at the flyers and saying these are pasted on and these are, look, I didn't have these flyers. These were sent to me. The people who found these flyers found them in Rhode Island. They found them at the archivist section of the AS-220. And so I don't know why it's attached to a newspaper. I don't know none of that. I don't have these flyers. But I did those flyers. Those are my flyers. So maybe they copied them. I'm not sure, right? So, yeah, I never saved any of the flyers. But anyway, it's just my story, man. Listen, y'all have a great night. Y'all have a great night, and we'll talk to you. Join me on Tuesday. Bible study for the culture, right? John chapter 13, Tuesday night. Come on in. Let's get some good positive energy. All right. Love y'all, man. Grace and peace. Talk to you soon.